Because of the relationships that you have with other countries, because of the collaboration that you have with other countries, despite the politics that goes on in this room, we are safer, and I want to thank you for that. We are safer, and I want to thank you for that.
Your government issued a visa to somebody who was allegedly in a 2015 ISIS propaganda video, who then planned a mass casualty event outside of Toronto with a target in our city, in our country's largest city. The RCMP foiled that plot with intelligence from the French. Are you really telling Canadians that that's how our system should work? He's been here for 6 years.
We are safer.
Oh, yeah. Hey, gang, what's up? Aaron, Canadian Looney. I'm from Nova Scotia. I bought a hat. We've got one over there, too. That's for Canada. Anyhow, we're going to get into Liberal Whip Mark Gerretsen. We saw him in the intro. He's a disaster. Fortunately, we have Melissa Lantsman here who's going to open things up and be questioning Minister Dominique Leblac, who's one of the happy hour gang, like of the Liberal Kool-Aid drinking party. Let's take a peek. This committee is very interesting. We cover Canadian federal parliament right here. Come and watch. It's interesting all the time. All of these distractions that have been going on through the news all summer, this Trump tariff trade war, these issues are bullshit. Like these are the real issues. Like I follow Canadian politics, and these are the issues in Canada. Let's take a peek.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
We'll start our second rounds of questions now with Ms. Lantsman. Please go ahead, 5 minutes.
Minister, I'm going to jump right in my questions because you've had a month to answer these questions. But you said in your opening statement, I'm going to quote you, "This is the way that the investigative and national security system should work." Your government issued a visa to somebody who was allegedly in a 2015 ISIS propaganda video, who then planned a mass casualty event outside of Toronto with a target in our city, in our country's largest city. The RCMP foiled that plot with intelligence from the French. Are you really telling Canadians that that's how our system should work? He's been here for 6 years.
Mr. Chair, what I'm saying to Canadians is that the moment the government of Canada became aware of concerning information regarding this individual, all of the appropriate steps were put in place by CSIS and the RCMP, which culminated in the arrest on the 28th of July. And thank God, as Ms. Lantsman said, the potential serious risk or violence was averted. With respect to the information regarding the immigration processing, the Immigration Department will be here later and are in a position to speak to the specific steps that an applicant, whether for asylum or permanent residency, and we're looking at the security check system.
Yes, Minister, by my count, there's about 6 security checks in the documents that you dumped on this committee 50 minutes before it started. Do you really think that the system is working if somebody like this, who's an alleged ISIS terrorist, who, if he was even a little bit more productive, would have resulted in mass casualties in Toronto? Do you really think that that's how the system should work? Do you really think that this is not a colossal failure of your government?
I am very proud of the work that the RCMP and CSIS did in thwarting this particular case. I think, as Mr. Gallivan indicated, if you look at the tens and hundreds of thousands of these cases that are reviewed every year as people seek asylum, submit asylum claims, or apply for various visas, we necessarily rely on the work of our security agencies. We're always looking at ways to strengthen and evolve that posture as the threat context, as Ms. Lloyd said, evolves. But in this case, I am satisfied that when the government of Canada was aware or could possibly have been aware of this information, all of the steps were taken.
They were aware 6 years ago when he came in. And speaking of that, we heard speculation,
Ms. Lantsman, you can't assert something like that if you're...
He's been here for 6 years. It's just a known fact from your own
But you
documents.
said to assert that people were aware of some information that came to light recently, 6 years ago, is wrong.
There is speculation that he was brought in under the Syrian refugee program. Is this correct? Yes or no?
I'm not sure I can speculate on the particular immigration status and program, and I'm not sure what part of that might be subject to the criminal trial, but you could certainly ask the Immigration Department that question.
Do you believe that if he was brought under this, if he was brought in through this stream, the government promised increased screening on asylum seekers in this country? Do you believe that after everything we know today, that your government is doing its job on that?
But again, I don't want to give credence to the premise that you ask because I don't have that information. So I want to be very precise that you don't link his arrival to a particular immigration program. The Immigration Department, I think, can provide you with those facts. I don't have them, but I don't want, in answering your question, to appear to confirm that because I don't have that information. I am satisfied that both the security services and the RCMP with the Immigration Department have in place a series of rigorous screening and background checks that take place. You heard Ted talk about biometric screening, 6 different databases. We heard the interim director of CSIS talk about 300 agreements, 150 different countries. We have access to a great amount of information to keep Canadians safe, and we need to make sure that that information is used in the most expeditious way possible.
This person was brought into Canada 6 years before a terrorist plot was foiled, just days before they would have killed people in Toronto. And you're telling Canadians that you're satisfied with the screening processes in place.
As I said in my opening comments, this person and the nature of the allegations which ultimately led to the investigation and arrest came to our attention in June. And this person from that point on was obviously under the appropriate surveillance to ensure that any threat was mitigated and led to the ultimate arrest on the 28th of July.
Thank you, Ms. Lantsman. We go now to Mr. Gerretsen. 5 minutes, please.
Thank you.
This next clown coming up, this is the Liberal Whip now. He's going to be playing a big role in the House of Commons coming up in the next session. This is Mark Gerretsen. He's unlikable. Everything about him is suspicious. He's a weirdo and a creep. Not a fan. Let's take a look. Like, he's always beaking off. He's going to play a big role, like, for the Liberal caucus coming up in the fall. Let's check him out. He's gross.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
And I just want to start by thanking the committee for voting in favor of the Liberal motion to study this, because I think it's extremely important that we do that. I do take issue, Minister, both Conservatives who have asked you questions have referred to this as a colossal failure. I think that when you look at the various different organizations that have been working together, as you indicated, some 7 or 8 organizations, this is an example of how we should be working, how our organizations and agencies should be working together to get the best results for Canadians. I take issue, or I recognize that Mr. Caputo seems to take issue with the fact that this information was given to Canada that assisted us in coming to the conclusion that we did. But the reality is that Canada is a net importer of information. And as a matter of fact, if you think of all the agencies throughout the different countries that would work together, every agency would end up being a net importer. That's the whole purpose to coming together with other countries to share information, so that we can all benefit from it. That being said, can you talk a little bit about the risks, Minister, with disclosing the exact details of how CSIS may have become aware of the threat posed to us?
Mr. Gerretsen, thank you for the question. I can certainly, based on briefings I've had over the last year and a month from CSIS, offer a view, and perhaps Ms. Lloyd could add something. The reason why CSIS, or people like me who may have access to some of this information in the routine course of my job, don't confirm or identify particular sources or partner countries, as you said, that are sharing information with us, and we would, of course, share information that we gather with those same countries, is because it can, if we're confirming both the tradecraft, the way that these intelligence agencies gather information. If we confirm it's agency X and not agency Y, perhaps some of these bad threat actors will be able to identify either human sources who would be at huge risk, you can understand what that would mean, or be able to understand the tradecraft, the very sophisticated and effective way that CSIS and other agencies gather this information in order to protect Canadians. So that's why every previous government has been very prudent, and that's why the Security of Information Act also provides criminal sanctions for those that cross the line. But perhaps Vanessa can add something specific, or Mark?
Yeah, and I do actually have another question that maybe you could answer as well, Interim Director Lloyd. If I'm not mistaken, today's the 1 month anniversary since the individuals were arrested. Yeah, and I've personally never seen a chronology of events be disclosed to the public so quickly, despite the fact that I'm hearing from across the table that my colleagues are concerned about how quickly this was released. Are you aware, Interim Director, of any other cases where the details have been released so quickly to the public?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. Honourable Member, it is our objective to be as transparent as we can with Canadians. Safety and security of Canadians and Canada's interests is of paramount importance to our organization as well as to our security partners that join us here today. I can also say that it is equally important, as the Minister referenced, to be very vigilant with regards to disclosure of specific facts. As the Minister referenced, this can allow for our adversaries to learn where they went wrong, and providing a roadmap to them to change their methods will have the impact of making it more difficult to detect these threats. And equally, we hope to be able to preserve the capabilities, the methodologies, and the tradecraft that the Minister referenced of our service to address those threats.
And I appreciate that, but Minister, and I appreciate your diligence in answering that question. Are you aware, Minister, can you think of any other time that information was released this quickly as we've seen it released on this particular case?
Certainly, Mr. Gerretsen, not in the time that I've been minister, because I think we recognize, and my colleague Mark Miller said so publicly, we recognize the understandable questions that Canadians had when they learned following the RCMP news release of these arrests. I think it is reasonable for the government and for Canadians to ask, well, how could this sequence of events that we've laid out before the committee take place, and what can we learn from that sequence of events to ensure the very best measures are in place? So that's the work that's ongoing. But we thought it was important to lay that out for Canadians. But I hope people understood in my opening comments when I said very clearly that in the month of June, when CSIS became aware of some of this concerning information, they immediately took all of the necessary measures to ensure that the threat was managed or mitigated. I may not be using the right technical term. The RCMP were involved as well. And then we saw the successful arrest on the 28th of July. These people remain in custody, in jail. Their bail was denied. And there will be a prosecution. So in our system, and you know this very well, Mr. Gerretsen, that should be the objective in terms of keeping Canadians safe. And I'm confident that this case, once the details come out, I hope in a trial, once a jury or a judge is able to evaluate the evidence, Canadians will understand perhaps how these cases can successfully be handled.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm sure that the two former Crown prosecutors that are sitting at this table would understand that very well.
Arrogant as can be. So folks, what do you think of all that? Like, I would recommend subscribing to my channel. Come and watch some of the videos. Like, Parliament is back in session starting September 15th, and that's what we focus on. This summer, we've been covering other news media outlets, just trying to get our hand on any information that I believe is pertinent to get out there for the masses. But where it really happens is Parliament, and that is our specialty, I guess. Anyhow, my name's Aaron, Canadian Looney. Like, share, subscribe. We're heading to the outro now. What a gong show the whole thing is. It's half entertaining and half heartbreaking. It's just scary to see that what the government is doing. If you pay attention, you will catch on. And we'll help you out with that right here at Canadian Looney. We're going to spin the outro. Later, gang. Thanks for watching.
As a European, I am a European, actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
I'm an Irish citizen. Yeah, so there you
welcome.
go.
Welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF. Here, here.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
And as the most European of the non-European countries.
Being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought
What
to
possible
avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Come on, Fiona.
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.
All right, gang, thank you all very much for watching. Aaron, Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. Smash that subscribe. We're trying to grow this thing. Canadian Federal Politics. Get yours right here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.